moments ago, the lighting was cheered not just by those on hand at Country Club Plaza, but also by those who watched it cross town on the Jumbotron at Arrowhead Stadium. That's where 80,000 boisterous fans have gathered this evening to witness the start of a new tradition, primetime NFL football on Thanksgiving night. Good evening, I'm Bryant Gumbel. Happy Thanksgiving on behalf of all of those of us at NFL Network. We're hoping that you, your family, your friends have enjoyed a wonderful holiday, one filled with food and with football. We would guess by this time of night you may have had your full of food, but we're hoping you still have an appetite for football, because on tap this evening is the third part of our NFL triple-header. That third part is a game between the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the first part of our 8-game primetime slate. Over the next 5 Thursday nights and the final 3 Saturday nights of the year, we're going to feature a lot of teams that are in the playoff hunt, a variety of teams. And 7 of our 8 matchups are going to feature division rivals. Tonight, 2 longtime rivals who know an awful lot about each other. The 7-3 Denver Broncos, the 6-4 Kansas City Chiefs. When last they met in September, they had to go in overtime to figure an outcome. It was 9-6 Denver then. A lot has changed since then, but the intensity has not. They know each other very well, and while familiarity has not bred contempt, it certainly has engendered a considerable antipathy.
Rivalry. A rivalry is defined as
the state or condition of competition or antagonism.
Antagonism. Yeah, I kind of like that.
Elam, kick on the way. It is good.
It was more like a fluke because we felt that we didn't play our best football.
A fluke? A win in this league is not a fluke. A win is a win. It's
the state or condition.
Competition or antagonism.
And I am the antagonist.
You can't intimidate me. I have faith in my team, faith in our defense, and faith in our coach that we'll win this game.
We haven't lost the Broncos at home since I've been here, and we don't plan on doing it now.
Well, that tradition has to change, especially on Thanksgiving. What better day to do it?
A clash, a fight,
A strife.
a combat, a battle.
Whatever you want to call it, let's get it on.
Touchdown, Denver Broncos.
Half man, half beast, Larry Johnson.
Rivalry, I define it as Broncos Chiefs.
Make the best team win.
It's a balmy night on a college atmosphere at Arrowhead Stadium. The Denver Broncos have just made their appearance on the field. They're coming off a devastating loss last week. And while they haven't won here at Arrowhead in 4 years, they can be buoyed by the fact that they've been real road warriors, winning their last 4 road contests. And hello again, now pleased to be joined by my new partner.
Can you believe
Chris? No, I can't. They actually entrust us each with a mic.
I'm not sure they should.
Let's talk about tonight's encounter. As trite as it is to talk about the quarterbacks, we have to, because this is a tale of 2 guys, one on his way back in and the other perhaps on his way out. Let's start with Jake Plummer. 10 touchdowns, 11 picks this year. It's been his bad year.
Yeah, and our Adam Schefter reporting that this is going to be his last start for the Denver Broncos. And I'm really hard-pressed to come up with a precedent for this one where a guy is coming into a football game, a big football game, knowing that he's not going to be the starter after this. Jay Cutler probably is. So I don't know how a guy like Jake Plummer is going to respond to it. You can only feel for him a little bit. I don't think Mike Shanahan has officially given him that news, and he's probably thinking, I have to come up with a monster performance tonight to try and keep my job.
Real simple. Tonight, is he playing for his job?
I think he is, without question.
Let's look at the other side. Trent Green, this is a guy who was out 10 weeks with a severe concussion. He came back in last week, but once again, this offense is his.
Yeah, it's his, but it's a completely different offense than what it was when he left, because last season this was an offense under Dick Vermeil and Al Saunders that they threw it all over the ballpark, and now they're coming back and Larry Johnson is the focal point. He's not going to get a chance to throw it on first down like he did in the past, and they're going to rely on their defense. Very different under Herm Edwards.
But you would have made the same decision last week. Green in for Heward, even though Heward played very well.
There's no question. Trent Green's a better quarterback.
So we've got two quarterbacks here. We're going to be watching them all night long. The Chiefs are about to make their way onto the field. This is really kind of a college atmosphere. Chiefs winners of their last 6 games. They've been dominant here at home, where they can take advantage of the acoustics in what may be the loudest stadium in the NFL.
See?
The noise tells it all. Let's go down the total access, guys. Rich?
All right, Brian and Chris, thanks so much. Rich Eisen along with 3 guys who can't hear a word I'm saying. It is loud. Marshall Faulk, Deion Sanders, Steve Mariucci right here on the turf of Arrowhead Stadium. They claim this to be the loudest stadium in the National Football League, and thus far everybody clad in red is living up to the billing. Marshall Faulk, who wins this football game in your mind?
Well, Rich, I like Kansas City in this game. I think they're going to give them a heavy dose of LJ. Trent's going to play action, hit his receivers, because they're going to need an extra guy in the box. And I don't know if the Denver Broncos defense got their swagger back after last week.
I didn't hear a thing he said, but I read his lips. I think he said KC. I don't agree with that. I know Jake Plummer is 0-5 career in this stadium, but guess what? He knows his job is on the line, and he's going to show up. And his defense, they're going to show out. I like Denver in this game.
I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs because Trent Green is seemingly healthy again. Tony Gonzalez is back, and this crowd right here is good. You know how hard it is right now talking the offensive line can't hear a thing. Kansas City.
They're setting off fireworks right behind us as well, and the smoke is not from the ribs in the parking lot. All the tailgating is complete, and we're ready for this football game. We're going to be with you for halftime as well, the Wendy's halftime show of this ball game. That, again, Chiefs, Broncos, Chiefs in this ball game.
Yes.
We'll see, and it's they're all chasing the San Diego Chargers right now, and as you can see, we're getting ready to honor America as always here in Arrowhead and every other place around the National Football League. Time to get to our national anthem. Let's send it up to the public address announcer.
To honor America and the many individuals defending our country worldwide, with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome Warner Brothers recording artist and member of the hit country duo The Wreckers, a Kansas City native, Jessica Harp.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare and the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
We have talked about the quarterbacks, but the man in the crosshairs tonight, the man who will have a lot to say about the outcome this evening, is that man right there, number 27, Larry Johnson. Now in his 4th year out of Penn State, he is the league's leading rusher with 1,045 yards, 14 scores, and he is the beast that drives the Kansas City offense. His opposite number, staring him down from across the line, will be 8-year linebacker Al Wilson. 4 times an All-Pro. Al is mic'd up for us this evening.
And there's really nothing any more exciting than to watch 2 guys like this go at it. And we're going to have the opportunity tonight. Larry Johnson from the running back position, he says, I don't take hits. He said, I deliver them. And I think Al Wilson feels exactly the same way. These 2 guys are going to meet in the middle of the field often, early, and get after each other. It's going to be really exciting to watch.
This was him moments ago.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. What's up, fellas? Hey, man. Yeah, we could be at home right now with our families eating, but we've been blessed to play a game for a living, man. So while we out here tonight, let's make sure we do our job, man. Let's have fun, let's communicate, and most of all, let's get this win, baby. Let's go, man. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3, dominate.
Al's fired up.
Yeah, he's fired up. Everybody's fired up when you're playing your rival, and that's exactly what this is. But this Broncos defense has really been one of the major stories this season. They've had 2 stretches this year of 11-plus quarters where they have not allowed a touchdown. And when you look around the National Football League and the history of it, that simply doesn't happen very often. And that guy right there, along with John Lynch, sort of the heart and soul of this defense.
And there's the man who has perhaps a big decision to make this evening. There's been so much talk all year long about Jake Plummer losing his job and the possibilities of Jay Cutler. Shanahan, in conversations with us, said that everybody on his team basically plays for their job every time out, that not necessarily is Plummer on a short leash tonight.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that or not. I think that this is decision-making time because of the fact that you have the 10 days before the next game. And if you're going to make the move to Jay Cutler, today is the day and now is the time. But how much pressure is that guy under, Jake Plummer? And to go out here and know that you're playing for your job, it's just a very, very unusual circumstance. But if you know Jake at all, he's not a guy that gets flustered by anything. He just is simply a laid-back guy. But so many people have been watching Jay Cutler in practice, and they go, the guy's just phenomenal. He has a freak arm. We've got to get him in the game.
We're taking a look at Brian Clark as Denver will receive the kickoff. This has been a problem area for the Broncos. They are last in starting position in the National Football League. Clark will take it at his 4. And he is stacked up just short of the 24-yard line. Broncos will be in business. Let's take a look at the Denver offense. As we've noted, Jake Plummer is having a very difficult year. 10 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Their passing game is 27th in the NFL. Behind him tonight, the Broncos will be starting undrafted rookie Mike Bell in place of Tatum Bell. Their big play man is Javon Walker, the guy who came over from Green Bay. Their offensive line is a veteran group, a versatile group, anchored by 13-year All-Pro Tom Naylor. Mike Bell is the lone back. Plummer 1st and 10 at the 25. Bell off the right side, fighting his way for about 3 before being stacked up. While we have the chance, let's give you the starters on defense for Kansas City. Jared Allen and Tamba Hali are their active defensive ends, both young, both very aggressive. Kieran Fox gets a start at one outside linebacker for Derek Johnson, who will play. The secondary is experienced. 3 of the starters over 30 years of age. Second and 6, Kyle Johnson is the lead back in front of Bell. Flea flicker, Plummer looking. Trying for Alexander, overthrowing him. It'll be 3rd down.
Really kind of a strange play to see a flea flicker to the tight end. Typically when you're running that play, you're wanting to have a chance to run by the safety. That time Sammy Knight was just going stride for stride with Steven Alexander down the field. I'm not sure I've ever seen that play thrown to a tight end before.
So this is exactly the position you said the Broncos don't want to find themselves in early on.
Well, the thing they do worst is drop back and throw the ball. This sort of takes them out of their running game and their bootleg game.
Double tight end set, double wide. Plummer will throw. Looking over the middle, has it tipped and picked. Ty Law comes up with the interception. It was tipped. Looked like it might have been off Alexander's hands, and Law comes up with it.
I think what happened is Steven Alexander touched down Ty Law after the interception, but the interception is going to stand. It wasn't a bad throw at all by Jake Plummer, but Steven Alexander just unable to turn and make that kind of a play. Again, there are a lot of tight ends in this league and one in this game, and Tony Gonzalez, that's a fairly routine catch. But Steven Alexander let it go off his hands, and Ty Law, one of the longtime veterans in this league and really good players, came up with it.
And so the Chiefs will start in good field position, 46-yard line. Tony Gonzalez coming back after missing last week's game, inactive. He's got a bum shoulder. Green will throw on first down. Looking, finding, Kennison. First down, Chiefs. Let's set Kansas City's starting offensive lineup for you. Trent Green, since coming over here to Kansas City, only Manning and Favre have thrown for more yardage. But if he's driving this buggy, it is Larry Johnson who is the horse. He makes the engine go. Tony Gonzalez is their leading receiver. As we noted, he's a bum shoulder. Waters, Wigman, and Shields up front form the best middle in the NFL. Johnson, the lone back, on first down. Looking off the right side. Getting past the 25, Garrett Williams with the stop. Let's set Denver's defense for you. Up front is the Cleveland connection. All four of the down linemen are ex-Browns. The three linebackers are all fast. The secondary, Champ Bailey is the best there is. Jerome Cox gets a start at safety for the banged-up Nick Ferguson. It'll be second and short for the Chiefs. Chris Wilson is the lead back before Johnson. Give to Johnson off the right side, fighting his way. Looks like John Lynch may have been on the stop. Hard to tell. Perhaps.
You're going to be seeing a lot of John Lynch at the line of scrimmage tonight. There's no mystery what the Kansas City Chiefs want to do, and that's pound the football. But for Mike Shanahan, this game has started exactly opposite of how he was hoping it would start. He was saying to me that when you play against the Kansas City Chiefs, you have to survive the first quarter. That when they get up on you early, the crowd gets into it, and it can be very, very difficult all night to try and come back against this football team. They came out aggressive with the flea flicker, throwing on third down and 6, and now Kansas City has the ball in pretty good shape.
Our first measurement of the evening. Nose of the football, first down. You were talking about Lynch, his problems compounded by the absence of Nick Ferguson at safety. Jerome Cox, who is in there as a second-year player who has better ball skills than tackling skills.
Yeah, and Jerome Cox is a guy that has played cornerback, and with John Lynch being down around the line of scrimmage so much in this game, it's actually not a horrible situation because he can cover so much more ground back there.
First and 10, Jason Dunn from the up back in a tight end position. Gonzalez comes in motion. Johnson's the lone back, looking off the right side, fighting his way for perhaps 2 yards before John Engelberger makes the stop.
Larry Johnson last week was just continuing his roll of games, now 5 straight games of over 150 yards and averaging 2 touchdowns per game. And boy, when you can do that, when everybody on the other side of the ball knows exactly what the game plan is, it's all the more impressive.
The Broncos have gone nickel. Second and 9. Green will throw, looking left. Finding Dante Hall, slips one tackle before being pushed out of bounds at about the 9-yard line. Broke the tackle of Dominique Foxworth on the far sideline.
And Dante Hall, about as electric as any player in this league. Of course, you know him as the punt returner, as the kickoff return guy. And that time the Broncos got caught in man coverage. And I don't care who you have out there, they're not going to be able to cover Dante Hall. That time Dominique Foxworth got taken advantage of.
The Chiefs will be first and goal from the 8. Green once again, Larry Johnson, the deep back. Chris Wilson, the up back. Johnson hit in the backfield by John Engelberger once again, perhaps a loss of 1. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 9.
And this is an unusual spot for this Denver defense. They've only allowed 3 points all season on the opponent's opening drive, and those 3 points came on opening day. So they have gone 9 games now without allowing any points on the opening drive, but when your offense turns it over early, it doesn't give you much of a chance.
It's somewhat eerie, actually, to their first meeting, because back then, on September 17th, the Chiefs took the ball and ran it down the field. Looked like they were going to go in for an opening score, and Larry Johnson fumbled inside the 5. 2nd and goal from the 9. Green will throw. Swings it this side. Chris Wilson getting stacked up. Ian Gold leading a bunch of tacklers there. It'll be 3rd and goal.
The Denver Broncos, led by Ian Gold, are probably the fastest bunch that you will find in the National Football League. And even though Chris Wilson's a pretty athletic tight end, Ian Gold can run with any running back and with most wide receivers in this game. Not a very big guy, about 220 pounds, but he can really fly.
Call it 3rd and goal from the 6. Green looking, trying for Kennison, broken up. They're calling it incomplete. That was Lynch defending.
Looked like a pretty good pass that time by Trent Green. I thought Eddie Kennison had a shot at the ball, but like John Lynch ended up with a better shot at it.
So Lawrence Tynes will come on for a 24-yard field goal attempt. Been perfect at this distance on the year. And Tynes puts the Chiefs out in front, 3-0 with 9:35 to play in the first. This following an interception by Ty Law of a Jake Plummer ticked pass. Chiefs on top, 3-0. Gorgeous Thanksgiving night at Kansas City's Arrowhead Stadium. Temperatures today climbed up into the 70s, if you can believe that. Not sure if we got a temperature at game time, but it's pretty comfy.
It is really nice. True holiday season here in Kansas City.
Happy Thanksgiving, pal.
Same to you.
Tynes with his 2nd kickoff of the night. Once again, this will be Brian Clark, 2 yards deep in his own end zone. Looking off the left side, but not finding much. On the stop, Jared Page. Lawrence Tynes has the Chiefs on top 3-0 after this missed pass by Eddie Kennison. We're back in a moment. At 8:30 on NFL Network. 1st and 10 from the Broncos from the 23. Mike Bell is the lone back, and Plummer will throw. Finding Chad Mustard for a short gain close to the markers, just past the 30-yard line.
Well, that's classic Mike Shanahan right there. Your quarterback just threw an interception, and instead of coming back with the conservative plan that you had in mind, you come back and you let him do what most people will say that he was not very good at doing, and that's dropping back and throwing the football. But what a difference it does make to a quarterback when you get a chance to throw on 1st down, because the defense is up there playing run.
2nd and 1. He'll give it to Bell, and Bell will fight his way. Hard to call it from here, close to the 1st down. Give Greg Wesley credit for the stop. Wesley, one of several Chiefs who are a little dinged up. We're going to be seeing a lot of Jared Page back there in his stead. Page, a rookie out of UCLA. Mike Bell is getting a start tonight in place of Tatum Bell, who also is dinged up. Tatum has a thigh problem. Plummer will throw. Swings it right. This is Bell. Fighting for the 1st down. Looks like he has it from here up to the 35-yard line. Kieran Fox with the stop.
You know, for a guy like Jake Plummer, you almost have to feel a little bit sorry for the guy. I mean, all he's done so far is quarterback of the Denver Broncos. He's got the career best quarterback rating in Bronco history at about 85. He's won 74% of his games here, and yet the standard is so high, and it's so high in part because of the guy that came before him, and then by the number 7, John Elway. You know, and there's never going to be another John Elway playing for the Denver Broncos.
Casts a gargantuan shadow. 2nd and 9. Plummer slips, finds his way out of the pocket. Our first flag of the evening as Plummer is brought down at about the 35-yard line. We'll wait for the indication. It's a hold on the Broncos.
Holding. Offense number 50. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That penalty noteworthy because in their first encounter, the Broncos, throughout the overtime even, did not commit a single penalty in their first game with the Chiefs.
The least penalized team in the league, and for Ben Hamilton, that time he's simply working against James Reed. Reed got the better of him, really had no choice but to reach out and tackle him.
So Plummer will be looking at 2nd and 19.
And
from his own 25-yard line, he's going 4 wide.
And here's where it gets dangerous for Jake Plummer. You've already thrown one pick.
Plummer with pressure from his backside. This one's overthrowing. Jared Allen applying the pressure to Plummer.
And Jared Allen is working against the rookie, Eric Pierce, on the outside, who replaced the longtime veteran, Matt Lepsis. And Pierce just simply going to be no match. Jared Allen was really pumped up to play this game. He says, you know, I feel like I'm King Kong out there, and especially when I get a chance to play against a rookie. He remembers when he had to go up against Willie Rope in practice, and he said, I'm going to school him the same way tonight.
The Broncos again go 4 wide. Mike Bell is the lone back. Plummer with three-step drop, incomplete. Once again, this time for David Kirkus, they'll have to punt.
The Denver Broncos right now are playing like they're scared to death. I mean, we're seeing drop passes, we're seeing missed opportunities. They look like the pressure of the game or the stadium. Remember, this is a team that hasn't lost 2 games in a row in 30 straight games. That's the longest losing streak or longest such streak in the National Football League after New England lost theirs. So you would think that eventually this quality football team would begin to wake up.
Shanahan is saying your lips to God's ear. Paul Ernster will punt it from his own 15. Dante Hall is deep. He'll fair catch this one at his own 37. And when we come back, the Kansas City offense will be on the field, and we can expect a large dose of 27, Larry Johnson. Jake trying to explain to Chad Mustard exactly what he had in mind there on that 3rd down toss.
You know, I like the fact that Jake Plummer, despite the rumors that this is his last start, is over there still coaching them up, you know? I mean, when you're the quarterback, you're the leader. It doesn't matter what they're telling you about your job. You got to go there and get your guys right.
This is Johnson looking, finding room off the left side, tripped up by Jerome Cox.
What a great play by Jerome Cox on that one. That is vintage Larry Johnson, though. What you see is he'll start into the line of scrimmage and bounce it out. This is a guy that runs a sub-4 440. Now, that is faster than a lot of wide receivers, including this one when I played the game. But Jerome Cox was able to get a finger on his toe, and that was enough.
It'll be 2nd and 7. Johnson tries the other side. Finds an awful lot of congestion there, trying to fight his way past the 40. Dimitri Veal first to get there.
And Johnson showing a lot of patience on that one, waiting for something to develop that just simply never did. You know, it's so unusual to think about Larry Johnson as a guy that had to ride the pine for a couple of years behind Priest Holmes, and there are a lot of conversation whether or not Dick Vermeil really wanted him on this team or a defensive player, and I think that Carl Peterson ended up making the right choice.
4 wide, Green will throw, looking this side, incomplete for Dante Hall. And for the first time this evening, the Chiefs will have to punt.
Well, so far the big story of this game was the defensive stop by the Broncos early on that's going to allow them to stay in this football game. And I think Mike Shanahan, the closer they get to the end of this first quarter, may begin to open up this offense and feel better about it. He wanted to survive the punches early on.
Dustin Colquitt will do the punting for Kansas City. Darrent Williams is in position for Denver at his own 15. Colquitt with a boomer. We've got a flag downfield. Williams feels it and is dropped immediately. Bernard Pollard on the hit. But we've got a flag back on the midfield. Bill Vinovich will sort it out.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 15. After this is the goal, Denver keeps the ball, first down. Timeout.
Brandon Marshall is the one flagged with the holding, and so Jake and his offense will have to start from deep in their own end with 5.5 left to play in the first. Be improved by their starting field position here. Backed up against their own goal line, Damian Nash is coming to the backfield for Mike Bell. Nash will get it. Off the left side, trips over the 3, gets back to about the 5. It'll be 2nd and 9.
And Damian Nash, a young man that has some talent to run the football. He really sort of fits the mold of some of the traditional Denver Broncos running backs. One of the problems he has, though, is that he gets a little too excited and he jumps out of the hole. And I think you saw it there as well. They want him to press the issue and then gently break it back the way that they've done in this offense. But sometimes he just breaks it off and goes where he doesn't have any blockers.
Fake to Nash, Plummer rolling right, looking, finding Chad Mustard up to about the 19-yard line, first down Denver.
And there's vintage Jake Plummer, and it was really a very strange looking bootleg play because he really didn't have anybody out in front of Jake towards the sideline. The receivers were back over the middle of the ball, and you always hear don't throw it back across the grain, but I think that right now the Denver Broncos are in a position where they're having to be so creative with their bootlegs because everybody knows what you're doing with them out there. So we've seen Mike Shanahan over the past few weeks come up with some really creative bootlegs. That one a big one to Mustard, get him off the goal line.
1st and 10, we've got Derek Johnson, 56 in the ball game for the first time. He was inactive last week. Jake will roll this side now. Tucking it, working his way back across the 20, picking up maybe 3 yards before Jared Allen decides to put a stop to things.
Came on the bootleg that time, and Kyle Johnson was the primary receiver coming out, but Patrick Surtain was all over him. And you know the Kansas City Chiefs have seen just about every kind of bootleg there. There's Jared Allen. He's looking for Jake and running around a little bit, and finally Jake ran right back to him. Jamal Walker working on the outside with his hand up, but Jake didn't see him.
Last guy you want to leave alone on Denver's offense. It'll be 2nd and 6. Nash once again, this time getting the pitch, looking left, getting stacked up. Kieran Fox first to get there.
You know, Kieran Fox has really made an impression on me over the past couple of weeks. He's gotten a chance to start for Derek Johnson, who's been out with an ankle injury. Derek Johnson, one of the true star young players in this game. But Kieran Fox said, hey, give me a shot out there. He's quick, he's fast, he's been reading run plays exceptionally well. Comes up with another big one there.
3rd and 8, we've got a timeout. Adam Meadows is down. We'll try to figure out as we take a break here. Kansas City leading 3-0 with just under 3 minutes to go in the first. Right tackle Adam Meadows has made his way to the sidelines under his own power. He's been replaced at right tackle by the man who held the job early on this year, George Foster, their #1 pick 3 years ago, but who has been demoted in the last couple of weeks.
So this is really sort of an even move, though. They don't drop off at all here with Foster in the game.
Plummer will throw, 3rd and 8. Looking, finding Walker. Up to about the 25-yard line. It'll be short of the first. Patrick Surtain with the stop, and Broncos once again will have to punt.
And George Foster, not a lot of time to get himself set up and ready. Tamahali working against him on the outside and went low and put the pressure on Jake Plummer. And Tamahali, who's had some problems with his hip, but he is really a talented young player. I watched the tape of the first game before he was injured. Boy, he was flying all over the field. Hasn't been quite as productive the last few weeks because of the injury, but you could see the talent early on.
Paul Ernster will punt it away to Dante Hall, who can return this one. Takes it to his 27. Little juke step, looking for room on the left side. Not going to find much, getting just across the 30, maybe to about the 32-yard line. That's where the Chiefs offense will be in business. Give Mike Leach credit for the stop. Larry Johnson coming in. the dominant back, I guess, along with LT. We'll talk about that as the evening goes on. He and LaDainian Tomlinson on the sideline. A man who once dominated just like that, Marshall Faulk from Total Access. Marshall, you've watched a lot of Larry. What do you like?
You know, what I like what they're doing with him tonight is they haven't fed him the ball in the first half like they're accustomed to, but what they have done is play action, trying to take advantage of the man-to-man coverage that the Broncos are playing. So when Larry gets the ball here, what they'll probably do here is try to feed him now that they've shown a lot of the passing game off the same runs. And as you see right here, he breaks one.
They do just that as he breaks the tackle and gets it up near midfield.
Definitely, definitely. What they want to do is, when the Broncos came out and they had a lot of guys up to the line of scrimmage, what they want to come back and combat it with is now pass the ball, and now when they play their soft zone, then they have an opportunity to run Larry right in between the tackles. Is where he likes to go, and here breaking tackles on John Lynch. That's a tough one to do in this league, but he's their go-to guy.
For a big guy, you got quick feet.
And basically, they've been playing John Lynch back off the ball, which has to come as a surprise to Marshall.
Green will throw on first down. Looking deep once again for Kennison. Incomplete.
You know, Marshall, do you have some explanation for why they would be playing John Lynch, who is such a great tackling safety, back that far off the ball and taking Chrome Cox and playing him at the line of scrimmage?
Well, I think the thing that they did was earlier in the game they came out and they moved him up and they played some man, so that gave Kansas City Chiefs receivers some one-on-one opportunities, and they threw the ball in the first two drives. And now they're moving John back. Trying to confuse him. They came out. Kansas City has their number. They ran the ball, hit a big one. Just now you saw they almost hit with Eddie Kennison right there when John Lynch was up on the line of scrimmage.
All right, Marshall, thanks so very much. We'll see you on down the road.
All right.
And
Johnson inside for basically no gain there. Give Al Wilson credit for that stop.
And really what's happening now is that Chrome Cox is being brought up and they're playing some man coverage. That time the Kansas City Chiefs went to a spread formation, and Cox is definitely the better of the cover safeties back there, a former cornerback. And so they're leaving John Lynch in the middle of the field and playing man-to-man on the outside, and Cox is one of those guys playing in man coverage.
Michael Bennett spelling Larry Johnson now 3rd and 10. Bennett's the lone back. Hall goes in motion to the top of the screen. Green will throw for it, swings at this side. This is Bennett fighting towards the first down marker, but he's going to come up at least 2 yards short. Ian Gold with the stop, leaving Herm Edwards with his first decision of the evening. No decision.
Yeah, I don't think that with the style of play that Herm wants to play now with these Kansas City Chiefs, this is a situation where you do anything but punt the football. Remember a week ago, though, he went for it on 4th and 1 and a big play and went on for the game-winning drive. But early in the ball game, and it's obviously going to be another defensive struggle, you punt the football and let your defense do their thing again.
Colquitt will boot it for about his own 45. Derek Williams once again the lone return man. You don't like these left-footed punters, do you?
Oh, I used to hate him as a punt return guy because the thing's spinning the wrong way.
Williams will fair catch it at his own 18. And with that, that'll be the close of the first quarter. Kansas City Chiefs on a great Thanksgiving night, a Thanksgiving game they've been waiting a long time for. Not disappointing their fans so far. 3-0 Chiefs. Back in Kansas City, Bryant Gumbel, Chris Collinsworth. We're getting set for the start of the second period. The Broncos will be working into what little wind there is. We've got word that Adam Meadows, evidently left hamstring problem. His return is debatable. Mike Bell is back in the game as the lone back behind Plummer. He'll get the pitch, come to this side. Trying to crack back, working his way past the 20 to about the 22-yard line.
And it looks like James Reed is limping off the field, and Kavika Mitchell slow to get up. So two players on the same play struggling to get back to the huddle.
Mitchell's one of those guys who has come along a lot in the middle, and he's a free agent at the end of this year. We spoke with him yesterday, asked him is he interested in trying the free agent market. He says he'd like to get it done here, but he's not adverse to seeing what's out there.
The answer is, oh yeah, I'm interested in free agency. Wouldn't you be?
Call it 2nd and 7. Plummer throwing, completing. Rod Smith with his first catch of the night.
You're out there making throws against Ty Law, and I can tell you this about Ty Law is you had better be careful because he will cheat occasionally. had a conversation with him the other day. He said, there are times that I will turn to my safety and say, I'm gone. And if they throw it my way, I'm undercutting it. So in case they go double move or they try something fancy, you got to cover my tail on the back end of this thing. But he is going to take some chances out there.
First down for the Broncos. Kyle Johnson is the up back. This give once again to Mike Bell, finding some running room off the left side, working his way down to about the 40-yard line. Another first down, Denver. Sammy Knight coming up with the hit.
And for Mike Bell, that was a much better run. When you're talking about Shanahan's offense, what you want to do is press the double team. You see the double team between the guard and the center right there. He stayed on it, as opposed to Damian Nash earlier when he made that severe cutback. You have to press the double team, stay with it, and this offense will work. And once the running game starts, then the bootleg and the play action starts to work as well.
Ryan Sims in a tackle for James Reed, who has come to the sideline. We'll get a report. We'll pass it along. Plummer looking to roll left. Pressure from Allen. Swings it outside. This is Kyle Johnson to about the 45-yard line before getting stacked up on the far sideline. Kavika Mitchell.
Nice job.
And Kendrell Bell, I'm sorry, with the hit.
Nice job by Jake Plummer there. They're basically playing Jared Allen on the outside here and simply let him go. And Kyle Johnson started to block him, slipped out past him, and they were able to get it out quickly. Now that puts a lot of pressure on Jake Plummer. He has to get his head around so he doesn't get hit in the back of the head. But Jake knows how to play that bootleg about as well as anybody, and that young man, Jay Cutler, is going to have to figure it out.
Call it 2nd and 4. This is Bell. Stutter step, getting much, maybe brings him down.
One of the things the Kansas City Chiefs do that's a little bit different than some teams is they crash their ends on the cutback plays. Instead of playing Jake Plummer in the bootleg on every play, they will send the two ends down, Tamba Ali and Jared Allen, and almost dare Jake to boot out around it and then cover them with a linebacker. That time, by crashing Jared Allen, they stopped him for a little gain.
3rd and 3. Neither the Chiefs or Broncos have converted a third down tonight. Give inside, going nowhere. Mike Bell stacked up by Kendrell Bell.
There you saw it again, Jared Allen coming down with no fear whatsoever. That was a blitz coming off the top of your screen here. You see from the left side, they're just going to send everybody down. You fake the reverse. But right now, the Kansas City Chiefs defensively simply getting there too quickly. And Jared Allen told me he feels like King Kong on the field. And right now, he's playing like it.
That call surprise you? Does it reflect a loss of confidence in Plummer?
Not yet. This is just the way this game's going to be. I'm glad I didn't predict more points in this one.
We said 15. He may have trouble getting there. Paul Ernster, this one a bit off the side of his foot. It will take a Denver bounce. Hall will field it at his 10, and he's dropped immediately at the 11-yard line. We've got 10:44 to go in the first half. The Chiefs in front of the Broncos, 3-0. We're back in the city of fountains, Kansas City, Missouri. Bet you didn't know that, did you? City of fountains.
I didn't know it, but I like this city. Isn't it a nice area over there?
Only one city on earth has more fountains than Kansas City, supposedly.
No kidding.
Honest Rome.
How about that?
Hey, learn something new every night.
Never been there. Haven't.
Chiefs will start from their own 12. 1st and 10. Larry Johnson, the lone back, looking off the left side, waiting for a block before Ian Gold in on the stop after about 2 yards. Let's listen in. Al Wilson, he's wired tonight.
You know I'm gonna be here. You know I'm gonna be here 6'2". Play it, Victor. You got it, baby. No. You hit the ground. No. Stay in there. Stay in there. Stay in there, baby. Stay in there.
Al Wilson's real voice is sort of like Barry White's. Al Wilson's voice is a little higher once he hits the football field.
2nd and 9. Green will throw. Off to his right side, finding Gonzalez with his first catch of the night, and he gets the first down.
And you can almost hear the crowd exhale when Tony Gonzalez gets the football. There's no question that when Tony Gonzalez gets it going on the offensive end, it opens up everybody else. Trent Green was telling me that this Denver Broncos defense pays so much attention to Tony Gonzalez that we've typically had bigger days with our wide receivers on the outside because they squeeze their safeties down because they're so concerned about Gonzalez, who's coming back from a shoulder injury here tonight.
Which stopped his streak of 120 consecutive starts. Give inside, Johnson working his way up to about the 30 before Ebenezer Ekuban gets his first stop of the night.
Larry Johnson, for a big guy, is just so nimble going through these holes. He's simply has the speed and the power to run between players, but then every once in a while, like there, has the ability to jump around one. That is basically 3 or 4 additional yards just strictly because Larry Johnson's Larry Johnson.
It'll be 2nd and 3. Johnson so far on the night, 10 carries, unofficially 41 yards. He'll get his 11th carry. Looking inside, finding no running room before Al Wilson decides to put a stop to it.
Tony Gonzalez this time coming back on a trap play. He's going to lead Larry Johnson, and Larry Johnson was trying to wait for Gonzalez, but I think that you saw there that Gonzalez's shoulder is just not right. Typically, that's a block that he would explode in, and that time he just didn't look like he was quite confident in that shoulder to try and throw that block.
1st and 10, Michael Bennett gives Johnson the blow. And it's Bennett. Finding room off the right side. 1st down, Chiefs, almost to midfield, call it the 47. John Lynch with the stop.
Ebenezer Ekuban on the backside of that play, playing his defensive end position. Basically, at the end of it, number 91 is saying, where are you guys? There is supposed to be somebody covering that gap right there behind us, and one of the safeties or corners, somebody failed to fill that gap.
So once again, the Chiefs have a 1st down. Kennison goes in motion at the top of the screen. Green looking left, completing. This is Sammy Parker with his first catch of the night. Darrent Williams pushing him out of bounds.
Well, as always, you get the running game going a little bit, and you're able to go play action. Just man coverage on the outside. Champ Bailey's at the top of your screen, so Trent Green said, forget that one. I'm coming back over here where Darrent Williams is against Sammy Parker. Darrent Williams can run, too. He has one of the fastest times in the past 7 years at the Combine, but it is no match when you're comparing him to Champ Bailey.
Darrent Williams took one back for 6 last week against the Chargers after intercepting Phillip Rivers. The give inside once again. This is Johnson. Hop step back to the middle. Working his way close to yet another 1st down inside the 30.
Well, exactly what we were talking about just a few moments ago. The ability of Larry Johnson to make the first guy miss. I mean, he's just simply stuck in the hole and 2 guys miss. Actually, Ian Gold ran into his own guy in there because they just simply can't keep up the moves of Larry Johnson. I know LaDainian Tomlinson is a great football player, but when you really study the numbers hard, this guy not only has the speed, but he has the power.
It'll be another 1st and 10 for the Chiefs, this time from the 28-yard line. This is Parker on an end around, getting just about back to the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look at LT versus LJ. Of course, much has been made of Tomlinson being the first to 100 touchdowns and doing it in 89 games. But look at Larry Johnson.
You know, 1.15 to 1.12, and that's if you take the games. But if you take that as starts, then Larry Johnson's numbers are much higher, averaging 1.68 touchdowns per game. He's only started 22 games, and so when you put the numbers together, you understand what a star back this young man is.
2nd and 10. Green will roll right, escaping the pressure. Using better judgment, he goes out of bounds at about the 20-yard line.
And Trent Green, when he gets out of the pocket, I'm sure that his family is gasping for air out there. What a tremendous hit he took in the opening day. Robert Gathers, the concussion, he was telling me that it was literally 25 minutes later. The first thing he remembers, he was in the ambulance going to the hospital, and he just went berserk. He woke up and his headgear was still on, the face mask off, and just freaked out and started saying, "Get this stuff off of me." He got claustrophobic, and thank goodness he's all right now.
We've got another flag on the play as Johnson tries for the first down off the right side.
Offsides. Defense number 96. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
We're looking at Trent Green. For those who haven't seen the hit, this occurred in week 1. As you noted, Robert Gathers coming up. What did you think of the hit?
A lot of controversy. I thought Robert at least tried to get his helmet out of the way. This is a call that more often than not, I think, is made against quarterbacks, but it's a little different situation when they're scrambling and running out of the pocket as opposed to being in the pocket. But for Trent Green, he feels good. The doctors tell him he's at no more danger now than he was before that game. 1st and 10 from the 15. This is Johnson inside, getting to about the 10. Well, you're going to get a little up close and personal in the National Football League, whether you want to or not. It's like Chris Wilson was in the middle of something. I think somebody, one of the referees or umpires, still has their microphone on out there. I'm not sure we're supposed to hear all this stuff.
Larry Johnson now at 13 carries, 60 yards. This is a guy who in his last 2 games here against Denver has totaled 291 yards. Johnson, right side, dragged down from behind. Ian Gold.
Well, Larry Johnson has been pretty instrumental in this drive to take it off his own 10-yard line, going down the field. And, you know, sometimes I wonder, you know, guys that play in the Midwest in a place like Kansas City, does the Eastern media really pick up on what a tremendous talent that he is? But I didn't realize when I came here just how fast he was when he came out in the draft. To run a 4.37 40 and to have the kind of power and to have the kind of strength that he is a boatload to try and bring down.
He has more than justified President and GM Carl Peterson's faith in him and making him the pick several years ago, and there's a story there. Green outside, in and out of the hands of Chris Wilson. We've got a flag on the play.
I think we're going to get roughing the passer.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 91.
Ebenezer Akubon, the guilty party.
Automatic.
Ebenezer Akubon on the outside, one of a number of former Cleveland Browns, and when that hand comes down on the quarterback, and typically Mike Pereira, who's the head of the officials, he told me once, if the guy's holding his hands up like that,
he did it.
That means he's guilty. he said we almost tell the referees if they're holding their hands up like they didn't do it, throw the flag. He did it.
So the Chiefs will be 1st and goal from the 4. Benefiting from some Bronco miscues on this drive. 2 penalties for first down. Johnson off the left side will come up a bit short, maybe has it down to the 1.
Well, I tell you, the interior of this offensive line, Brian Waters and Casey Wigman and Will Shields, is really just dominating the defensive line for the Denver Broncos right now. Remember, this is one of the top defenses in the league. And when Larry Johnson runs, he makes the great majority of his yardage behind those 3. Brian Waters, it was really questionable whether or not the 2-time Pro Bowler would be able to play here in this one, but he's played well.
This will be Johnson over the top. Touchdown Chiefs. For Larry Johnson, that continues a rather remarkable streak. He has now the last 29 rushing touchdowns that the Chiefs have scored.
Why would you give it to anybody else? I wouldn't either. I tell you, they're just, what a drive that was to come off about their own 10-yard line against one of the best defenses in football, and they really made that look easy. It's not often you just jam it down the throats of one of the top defenses like the Broncos.
Tynes makes it 10-0. And that's a drive Herman Edwards would be proud of. 13 plays, 88 yards, 8 up 7:41, and leaves the Chiefs leading 10-0.
He's eating up a lot of turkeys right now.
This is the number we were talking about, 29 consecutive rushing touchdowns for one team, leaving Curtis Martin behind. Sean Alexander has a nice streak going to 23, but that one's over. Lawrence Tynes will kick it away. Brian Clark will field this on one hop at his own 2. Clark this side, finding room. Tynes forces him back. We've got a flag as Tynes is brought down at about the 47-yard line. Give him a return of 45. Jimmy Wilkerson on the hit.
And we've got a flag down on the field, and the woes continue for the Denver Broncos kickoff and kickoff return units. They've been pathetic this season.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 15. 10-yard penalty. Denver keeps the ball.
Killing themselves with penalties.
Timeout.
We're inside 3 minutes in the first half. The Kansas City Chiefs having things much their own way, out in front 10-0 over their division rivals. We're back after this. Kansas City tonight, the first of 8 primetime games on NFL Network. If you're watching us, remember, get NFL Network. Learn how by logging on to iwantnfl.com. Cecil Sapp with his first reception of the evening.
It's a really important part of the game right now. The Denver Broncos have one of the best teams in the NFL, scoring 48 points in the last 2 minutes of either half. This has clearly been a strength of Mike Shanahan's teams over the years, and they really need to get something going here. But on the flip side of that, you make a mistake, and the Chiefs would have a chance to put this one away before halftime.
2nd and 3, Damian Nash, the lone back. He gets it. Fighting for first down off the left side before being stopped there by Kavika Mitchell in the middle.
Really nice play by Kavika Mitchell, getting off the blocks and meeting Nash in the hole. And there's just been so many different running backs for the Denver Broncos. You just wonder if this running game has ever really gotten in sync.
We've hit the 2-minute warning. We'll come back after this. Hey, performing as he did in Detroit earlier.
He's had a busy day.
Damian Nash, the lone back, as Plummer faces 3rd and 1. Swings it this side. Javon Walker gets the first down, crosses the 30. Keeps the Broncos drive alive.
You know, it's so funny watching the Broncos when they get to this 2-minute part. Here, 3rd and 1, and they're going to throw a pass. They line up in shotgun. They're not even going to go play action and basically give one of their best athletes a shot in the open field. Nice play by Javon Walker.
Plummer will throw again. Looking deep over the middle. Walker once again past midfield to about the 47-yard line into Kansas City Chiefs territory after breaking the tackle of Greg Wesley. Broncos will call a timeout. 1:30 left in the first half.
Stay on the NFL Network.
Indeed, next Thursday, Chris gets to play a home game.
I love it. How hot has Chad Johnson been lately? Oh my gosh, like 260 yards and 190 yards. I can't wait to watch him play.
Next Thursday night, it's the Ravens against the Bengals. Thursday Night Football kicks off at 8 on NFL Network. Plummer will throw, looking deep down the far sideline for David Kirkus. Incomplete.
And Kieran Fox laid a big hit that time on Jake Plummer. They came with the blitz off the lower side, and Jake hung in there. I know he saw it coming. There's no way he didn't see this thing coming. Can only pick up so many of them, and you just have to wonder that time if Damian Nash wasn't supposed to pick up that blitz. He's still a young player, and he makes a lot of mistakes, which is why they don't always trust him.
Which is maybe why he's back on the sideline. Nash is out, Bell is in. 1st and 10, Plummer will throw. High, caught, Walker.
There's really no choice for Jake Plummer. He has to get his star player involved, and that's Javon Walker. And Javon Walker looks like he's a little dinged. He's trying to fight through it here.
3rd and 10, Denver in a hurry up. Plummer looking and finding Brandon Marshall for the first time tonight. And that's enough for a first down. Denver's got something going for the first time tonight. They're losing right now 10-0 with a minute left in the first half. Back in Kansas City, the Broncos and Jake Plummer finally have something going on this drive. Plummer 5 of 6 for 48, but this is a little bit troubling to Denver.
Yeah, Javon Walker on this play earlier came up gimping. He stayed in the game since, but you can tell it's bothering him.
That's the same knee that he tore the ACL on last year in Green Bay. 1st and 10. Swings it this side. Walker once again getting past the 25. out at about the 23, stopping the clock with just under a minute to go in the half.
Perfect call by Mike Shanahan right here. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to come on a blitz, and what that does is it eliminates any inside pursuit. So you basically have Javon Walker wide open on the outside, going down close for a first down.
It'll be 2nd and short for Denver. Call it 2nd and 1 from the 23. Plummer stepping up, finding. This is Rod Smith with his 2nd catch of the night, brought down at about the 14-yard line. Ty Law with the stop.
They stay in the hurry up now. Jake signaling that he wants to spike the football. We'll see.
And he does.
So Jake Plummer, who had struggled for most of this game, now is piecing a drive together. And so many times it happens, Bryant, when you get a quarterback and you allow him to go into the no-huddle offense, you quit thinking so much, you know, and you just go out there and play football, and you're not going, oh my gosh, are they going to take my job away from me? I threw an interception and all that stuff. You're just playing ball again, and I think that for Jake, these are his best moments.
Jake Cutler looking on from the sideline. It'll be 2nd and 10. Plummer flips it out. Mike Bell brought down from behind. Ron Edwards with the stop. Down inside 30 seconds.
And you have 3rd down, so you need to take your shot here.
3rd and 8. Plummer loses the handle, regains off the hands of Rod Smith. Ouch.
They had a chance, had David Kirkus in front of him, and Rod Smith knew he needed to pick up about 7 and just simply took his eye off the football. We got Jared Allen on the ground with a good cut block, and Rod Smith's not going to drop 1 out of 10,000 of those, but
I was about
it was
to
a
say,
big one here.
Arguably the Broncos' most dependable player for the last 12 years. So Jason Elam comes on with a 31-yard field goal attempt. Splits the uprights, gets the Broncos on the board for the first time tonight. Effective drive for Jake.
Yeah, it was, and a big drive for him. I was beginning to think, I don't know if you were or not, that we might be seeing Jake Cutler in the second half. But after all the early mistakes by the Broncos offensively, we finally started getting it together on this final drive. They've been keeping pressure on him all night long. And this offensive line is so used to being able to run the football. I mean, it's just been the history of Mike Shanahan, and it just makes an incredible difference when you can't run the ball and go play action and go bootleg. Remember, this is one of the smaller offensive lines in all the National Football League. They're not built to drop back and throw the thing, you know, 10, 15 times every half. They need to get the running game going, but I just haven't seen it all season. Statistically, they're like the 3rd or 4th best rushing team in the league.
Yes.
But it's never really looked like a Mike Shanahan coached running game this year. And you know, and it shows up in the passing game, and I think it's a big reason why Jake Plummer has struggled as well.
You saw the graphic earlier. Jake on that drive put the numbers up there. I think he had 68 yards passing. And Dante Hall is at his own 2-yard line. We're looking at 14 seconds left in the first half. Will they kick it to him? Yes, they will. Hall 2 yards deep. Hall inside. Hall, 2 men to beat. Pushed out of bounds, cross midfield. Dominique Foxworth pushing him out inside Denver's 40-yard line.
Mike Shanahan's made a lot of great coaching decisions over the year, but there is no reason, and you called it beforehand, there is no reason to kick that to one of the most prolific return men in the game with 10 seconds to go in the half. That is a major mistake.
Give him a 60-yard return. The ball will be spotted at the 43-yard line of the Denver Broncos with 5 seconds left in the first half. The Chiefs will take a timeout. This is a guy, by the way, who loves playing against the Denver Broncos. If you take a look at Mr. Hall's resume, get this one. Against Denver, he has his longest reception, his most receiving yards, his longest reception for a touchdown, his longest kickoff return, his longest punt return, his most touches, his most combined yardage, and his longest reception.
So you're saying that he sent the limo to get the guys tonight. Is that what you're saying? Oh, boy. Well, you've got 5 seconds remaining. And if you line up right now, you're looking at a 60-yard field goal. And it's kind of hard to tell which way the wind is.
The wind is helping him. He's with the wind. Tynes' career long is 53 yards against San Diego. This year from 50-plus, he's only 1 for 3.
I think what you're going to see Trent Green try to do here is to maybe go to like a Hail Mary kind of formation, but then peel one of the receivers out and see if he can't hit on a 3-step drop, somebody get him out of bounds and try and set up a field goal. Now, defensively, obviously, what you're going to do for the Broncos is line up 2 guys right on the boundary, and you can see them on the outside to take away those quick outs.
Nope, 7-step drop. This will be, barring a penalty, the last play of the half. Over the middle, incomplete. And indeed, that will end the first half with the Kansas City Chiefs out in front of the Denver Broncos by a score of 10-0. Coming up next, the Wendy's halftime show. Rich, Steve, Dion, and Marshall will be along with analysis and highlights, and John Fogerty will be here live. In Kansas City, the Chiefs out in front of the Broncos, 10-3. Got a drive going as the half ended to finally get on the board, leaves us with a score of 10-3. Back up top, along with Chris Collinsworth, I'm Bryant Gumbel. You've had a chance to look at the numbers. What jumps out at you?
Well, I think first and foremost, the fact that the Denver Broncos have 24 yards rushing in the first half. They're just simply not going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs if they don't improve on that. Jake Plummer's been okay in this one, but right now they have to get that running game going to have a chance.
We talked about him playing for his job. 14 of 21. Is that doing enough? 14 of 21 for 110.
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, this is going to be Jay Cutler's team probably in 10 days unless Jake Plummer comes up with something really masterful here in the second half.
You know, the story of this game is such a wonderful thing for the city of Kansas City. It's just unfortunate that the man who played such a large role in getting it here is not here to witness it tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure that people really understand the significance of Lamar Hunt, who's in a hospital right now in Dallas, Texas, and we certainly want to send along our best wishes to you not feeling so well right now. But this is a guy that was so instrumental in building the AFL that then became a part of the NFL, and so many times that the owners in the AFL wanted to fold their tents, didn't have enough money, and he would go into a room and fire them up, and it would offer his own money to keep it alive, and his dream lives here tonight.
Yeah, he always wanted a Thanksgiving game. He said we ought to circulate it. It shouldn't be in Detroit and Dallas every year. We should circulate it. He wanted one for Kansas City. They haven't had one here since, what, 69, back when it was an AFL game between these same Broncos and the Chiefs.
You know, you don't like to get too sentimental all the time about things that go on, but Lamar, we sure wish you were here to see this one tonight.
Happy Thanksgiving. Get well. We've been keeping our eye on Larry Johnson. We told you he was the man in the crosshairs, certainly in the crosshairs of Al Wilson, who's been mic'd up for us tonight. Let's give a listen.
Let's go. Keep bowling. Keep bowling. Keep bowling. Killing ourselves.
That was Al's reaction to the touchdown of Larry Johnson. The Broncos defensively had played pretty well, though, this evening.
Yeah, they did, but you don't expect them to take the ball and drive it down the throat of this defense for 90 yards. And you just wonder if that San Diego game a week ago may have shaken their confidence just a little bit. Now, certainly the Kansas City Chiefs are not a juggernaut offense, you know. I mean, they're just not.
No, but I think you hit on something good. John Lynch said as much yesterday in our conversation with him when he said as a team leader and as a veteran, one of the things he had to do is try to rebuild the psyche of this defense after relinquishing a 24-7 lead as badly as they did to San Diego last week.
And they've played some of the better offenses in the game the last few weeks between Indianapolis, San Diego, and on and on.
Paul Ernster will get our second half started. Dante Hall at his own 6. Dante Hall getting back to about the 33-yard line. Let's take a look at our quarter. We told you that Plummer had enjoyed 110 yards through the air. Green has been pretty economical tonight, only 6 of 10.
And Trent Green's one of those guys that if it's good for the team, it's good for Trent Green. You know, a lot of guys, if you're going to bite into their statistics the way that Herm Edwards is with this style of play, they would not be too happy about it. But Trent Green's accepting it because they're winning, and he's being the good soldier out there.
They expect to see a steady diet of Larry Johnson this half. He'll swing it outside to Johnson, underthrows him. That looked like Eli and Tiki.
There's so much focus really being paid to Tony Gonzalez on the inside. That time, Jerome Cox, who has been down in the box playing him, you see, is just simply going to go with him no matter where he's going. It's almost like a 1-on-1 in basketball, you know, where they just say, all right, you're not going to beat us. If somebody else does, it's all right, but Tony Gonzalez, you're not going to beat us.
This will be Johnson. Off the left side, getting maybe 2 yards before being stacked up in the middle. You know, we talk about what this Denver defense gave up. It is interesting, and you can do everything with numbers. But in the 8 games against teams that did not have a guy named Payton or LaDainian, they gave up 9.5 points a game. In those 2 games against LT and Payton, 34.5 points a game.
So basically they're saying, I'm glad we don't have to face Payton or LaDainian.
Yeah, I mean, look, those guys,
which a lot of people say
those guys are going to ring up numbers on everybody.
Oh, my gosh. I remember Ebenezer Ekubon last week ended up in man coverage against LaDainian Tomlinson. He had to be thinking, who drew this one up?
3rd and 7 it'll be. We've got a flag. Green looking right side, in and out of the hands of Eddie Kennison on the far side. Why would you throw at Champ Bailey?
Well, Champ Bailey with a big hit there to knock that one out.
Offsides. Defense number 97. 5-yard penalty.
This one will go against Denver, as all 6 penalties have tonight. Dimitri Veal offsides, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brian, we really don't see the Denver Broncos beating themselves the way that they are tonight. I mean, this is a team that really prides themselves. I believe they came into this game with the fewest penalties in the National Football League, and yet it's been their mistakes as much as anything else that's cost them the lead in this game.
It keeps this drive alive, leaves Green 3rd and 2. He'll throw for it. And he'll find over the middle. First down, Tony Gonzalez. He is a good security blanket, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And that time it looked like there was some confusion on the part of the Broncos defensively. Ian Gold, you see him running across the field, was out of position and basically voided the area where Tony Gonzalez ended up. John Lynch now playing down in the box a little bit. We'll see if it's a bit of a change in strategy this half.
Spotted at the Kansas City 48. First down, Chiefs. Gonzalez comes in motion our way. Give to Johnson. Escapes Gold in the backfield and finds running room off the left side. Crosses midfield to about Denver's 48-yard line.
That time the Denver Broncos come on a blitz, and you can't draw it up any better than this. I think it was Ian Gold coming through, who's as fast as Larry Johnson is, and he just simply couldn't catch him. And Larry just makes a little sidestep move and makes it look easy. Instead of a big loss on the play, end up gaining a few.
Enough to make it 2nd and 6 from the 48. Dante Hall is wide to the high side, lined up with Champ Bailey. Green, lots of time, swinging it out this side, underthrows Johnson yet again. Ekubon with the pressure inside will leave the Chiefs looking at 3rd and 6.
Well, you know, you see Ebenezer Ekubon, and he put his hands up again that time, but they didn't give him the call. Ebenezer, he's already guilty once here tonight, and so then you do that, and you get the hit, and then what do you do? Yeah, that look, no. It's like he's doing a belly flop on the play.
He's just stretching his spine.
Yeah. Please don't throw that flag.
3rd and 6. Green, right sideline. Sammy Parker, running room. Across the 20, pushed out at about the 16-yard line. Dominic Foxworth on the coverage.
Once again, the Denver Broncos, when they blitz, they've been getting burned this season. They come on the blitz, bring some late pressure, they don't get there, and they simply are leaving their cornerbacks on an island on the outside. That time, Darren Williams left in one-on-one situation. and Sammy Parker makes him miss one tackle, and that's a big gainer.
31-yard pickup. 1st and 10 from the 17. Green throwing, incomplete. Intended for the hands of Jason Dunn.
I'm sorry for laughing, but that's the second week in a row now I've seen a defensive end in a zone blitz situation. This time it's John Engelberger trying to drop back and cover Jason Dunn. And when the pressure doesn't get there on the blitz, Engelberger just says, uh-oh, they haven't blown a whistle yet. I'm in trouble here. But that time he let his back do the work.
2nd and 10. This is Johnson, stutter stepping and left in the hole in the left. Gets it back to about the 17. Ecubon giving credit for the stop, although I think that was a slip on Johnson's part. This field was resodded this week.
Yeah, we go back a week ago in the play of LaDainian Tomlinson. It was basically the same coverage right there. Ebenezer Ecubon, though, ended up in coverage against LT. And you talk to these Broncos players, they said that play more than any this season seemed to really demoralize our defense, and they really just didn't recover from it.
3rd and 9. Green throwing right, batted down by Champ Bailey. The officials in the stands want a flag. That looked clean from up here.
And I tell you, better be careful when you're throwing to Champ Bailey inside the red zone. The guy has 5 picks this year, and all of them have been inside the 4-yard line. So they've been huge plays. Let's see if he gets there too early. I think so. But he's Champ Bailey. It's like Michael Jordan. You get away with a few of those, but that one did look like pass interference to me.
Spoken like a wideout.
Thank you.
Tynes from 34. He's already made one from 24 tonight, trying to give the Chiefs a 10-point lead. It's good. And with 11:20 to go in the third, the Chiefs get on the board once again. They're up 13-3 on the Broncos. Back in Kansas City, 11:20 left in the third period. Bryant Gumbel and Chris Collinsworth. That last scoring drive, 10 plays, 51 yards.
Look at our fancy cable cam out there.
You like that?
Yeah, when it takes off down the field, it kind of looks like a thoroughbred in action.
Tynes. Once again, Brian Clark. And once again, the Broncos just can do nothing on a kickoff return unit. Starting position will be the 22-yard line. They trail by 10 in Kansas City. Sides, Kansas City will re-kick. This time it's the up man, Cecil Sapp. Getting it back to about the 36-yard line. So the Broncos pick up about 13 yards on the exchange kick.
But that's a significant 13 yards because you're play calling when you're on the 35-yard line as opposed to about the 21-yard line, which is where they average starting drives with their kickoff return unit, which is last in the National Football League. It just opens up the playbook a little bit, which would probably be a good idea right about now for Mike Shanahan and the Broncos.
The crowd seems to understand the importance of this drive. Somebody jumped early. Plummer dragged down the backfield. That's Tamba Ali.
And it looked like
I thought somebody jumped.
Jared Allen jumped off sides on the play, but now they're going to the offense.
Evidently we're the only ones who saw it. 2nd and 13, we'll call it. Plummer swinging it out. Bell stopped in his tracks by Surtain.
You know, one of the problems when you come out off the sideline and you say, all right, we're going to go to the hurry-up offense, you don't expect the first play to be for a loss, and then all of a sudden you're hustling around out there and you look a little silly. Now you're stuck in 3rd and 11, and this crowd is going to make it even more difficult on these tackles to try and hear the snap count.
Plummer will send trips wide to the right. His lone back remains Mike Bell. Over the middle, he's going to have this one picked off. Patrick Surtain to the 30. Surtain Pushed out at about the 17-yard line.
There is a flag down on the field, though, and it is in the defensive secondary.
It's on the far side. I think Mike seems to have a good understanding of what's about to unfold.
And it's going to be an automatic first down.
Before the pass was thrown, illegal contact, defense, right cornerback.
That illegal contact was away from the play on the far side.
What a huge play in the ball game, because it's essentially over the way they're going. Let's see if we can pick up illegal contact on the outside against Lenny Walls. It is not far beyond that 5-yard area, but it has been a point of emphasis this season that you are not allowed to make contact beyond 5 yards, and if it's 6, it's a flag, and they've been strict all season with it. What a huge break for Jake Plummer in this Broncos offense. They need to capitalize on it now.
Walls, a former Bronco himself. First down, Denver. Now at the 40, Damian Nash is in the backfield. Plummer, lobbing, caught. Kirkus down to about the 25-yard line.
And they're going to work on Lenny Walls right now. They know plenty about him. Obviously, he was with the Denver Broncos for a while, and if there has been a weak link in this secondary, it has clearly been Lenny Walls. They go to the pump fake, the double move, and they are going to stay right there. That's the reason they're in this spread formation right now. They're trying to isolate Walls.
36-yard gain. The Broncos back in a hurry up. First and 10 from the 25. Plummer sidestepping the traffic, looking downfield as he rolls right. He'll hang on, gets it inside the 20-yard line before stepping out of bounds.
You can say anything you want about Jake Plummer, but he's one of the best at doing this. That is a sack on 95% of the quarterbacks in the National Football League. They really did not have this protected well at all. Jared Allen coming around. Tamba Ali in there with pressure. Jake escapes and not only doesn't take the sack, but almost picks up a first down. Great play right there by Jake Plummer.
2nd and 4 for the Broncos. A drive that began in better starting position thanks to an offside in the first kickoff. This is Plummer swinging it out wide, intended for Alexander, but at his feet.
And the Denver Broncos just simply do not have the receiving tight ends that they have had in the past here. And I can't tell you the significance of that for a Mike Shanahan coached offense. I mean, between the bootlegs and the easy passes, they went the first 8 games of the year and had something like 11 total catches out of the tight end position. They thought they were going to have a player in Tony Scheffler. They gave him every opportunity. They think he's going to be the receiving tight end in the future, but he never grasped the passing game, and it's really, really hurt the Broncos this year.
Well, the Broncos will get a timeout, and facing 3rd and 4, Plummer and Shanahan will talk about it. 8:56 to go in the third. 3 of 6.
Don't forget Jake's mobility here. Always an opportunity. Quarterback draw, bootleg, roll out, something along those lines.
Mike Bell is the lone back. He'll get it, and he'll get the first down. Following the lead block of Steven Alexander, gets it down to about the 11-yard line. Broncos still seeking their first touchdown against the Chiefs in what amounts to about 8 quarters now.
Pretty gutsy call right there by Mike Shanahan. They just come back in their 2 tight end formation, and Alexander may not be the best receiving tight end in the game, but that was a big block right there to take care of the backside and allow the cutback.
First and 10 from the 11. Once again, it's Bell. Bell fighting for yardage. Ty Law stands him up, knocks him back. Perhaps a loss of 2.
Garen Fox that time, who's been filling in for the injured Derek Johnson, did a great job of maintaining some inside leverage, trying to bounce this thing to the outside, and he took away the inside gap, which then forced him to bounce outside and allowed Ty Law and company to get there. That's the essence of so many defenses in this league. Defenses are so fast now, they try to force you to bounce outside and allow the defensive speed to get there.
It'll be 2nd and 9. Swings it wide. This time Alexander gets almost to the 5-yard line. Greg Wesley pushing him out.
Well, Jared Allen has been a thorn in the side of Jake Plummer all night. So basically now, instead of just letting him go one-on-one, they're giving a little help on the outside. Ben Hamilton sneaking that way as they slide their protection left towards Allen.
They've spotted it just inside the 5-yard line. The Broncos go 4 wide. Plummer, quick out, Rod Smith.
Oh boy, Rod Smith stretched that thing out, and it has to be on about the 1-inch line down there. Smith thought he had it over the goal line. It's 4th down now.
He's got to go, doesn't he?
There's no question about it. Let's see if this ball gets over, though. Looks like it's a pretty good call by the official. Clearly no evidence there that it crossed the line. And Mike Shanahan knows that there's a time to be aggressive, and you're looking at that time right now.
1st and goal from the 1. Plummer lobbing for Alexander. Touchdown Denver. Kendrell Bell on the coverage.
And the Denver,
good call, good toss.
Absolutely. The Denver Broncos saw the mismatch there. They took advantage of Kendrell Bell on the outside, and Steven Alexander in the jump ball. He's not used to being flanked out that wide, but was able to jump up and make the play. Believe me, Kendrell Bell's not used to being out there either.
Jason Elam makes it a 13-10 game with just 6:20 to go in the 3rd period. We've got ourselves a ball game in the AFC West. It's the Chiefs on top, 13-10.
On Monday nights, it's more football for more football fans.
You got to be living on planes.
I love it, though. I'm excited to be back at the ballpark. A lot of fun.
That last scoring drive for Denver, 10 plays, 64 yards, ate almost 5 minutes in the 3rd period, culminating in Alexander's 1-yard TD reception. Of course, it was a drive kept alive by that illegal contact penalty on Walls.
Surtain's interception called back. The penalty, it just, you could tell that that was a real momentum shifter there. It was 3rd and about 13, the intercepted ball, and called back by the penalty. Drive kept alive, and the Broncos took advantage.
Speaking of momentum shifts, a guy who can do it in a hurry is poised at his own goal line. They're trying to kick it away from him. Oh. They will kick it out of bounds. The Chiefs will be in business at their own 40. Hey. Their special teams work is just not very good. That's the truth. And Denver's on the short end of a 13-10 score at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. We're back after this. Following a Broncos kickoff that sailed out of bounds, the Chiefs will have 1st and 10 from their own 40. We would expect a steady diet of number 27 from here. Johnson on the night, 19 carries, 73 yards. This will be his 20th carry of the night. Off the left side, Al Wilson following him over there.
I always feel sorry for the offensive linemen that have to try and pull in front of a guy that runs as fast as Larry Johnson does. Casey Wigman, that time the center, was out in front, and it's remarkable how quickly he can get out there, but you can just see him huffing and puffing, and Larry Johnson sort of in a half jog coming around the corner. His offensive lineman really no match.
Second and 9. Green will throw. Looking and finding Gonzalez just shy of midfield on the 1st down marker, leaving the Chiefs about 3rd and 1.
Tony Gonzalez really just one of those great route runners from the tight end position. He understands, even against a guy like Ian Gold, who can run probably faster than he can, that it's all about pressure. That time he leaned on Ian Gold, pressured inside, was able to break out, and Trent Green made a nice throw.
Tight formation, Chris Wilson, the lead back. Johnson gets it, fighting his way back to about midfield, may have the first. Al Wilson and Ian Gold on the stop. First down.
Al Wilson saw it coming. There was nothing fancy about that. Double team inside, Chris Wilson with a block, and really because of the pressure inside, they were able to get the penetration. Gave Al Wilson just enough time to catch it from the backside. There's John Lynch coming down in the box.
Johnson looking for something inside, following the block of Will Shields and picking up maybe 4 yards. We told you we had Al Wilson wired. His reaction to Denver's touchdown.
Hey, this our half, baby. This our half. There you go, Snake. Be the damn Snake. Yeah! Yeah! That's all you need right there, boy. That's it.
So all you got to do is beat a snake.
That's it. You know, and that's sometimes what it takes to get the defense going, is the offense finally get it going a little bit.
Green, Johnson, first down, Chiefs. Johnson a little slow getting up.
Nice job there by Trent Green. He saw the soft coverage. You see all the guys that cover 2 look in the secondary playing very soft on a 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6 kind of a situation. Really too soft when you're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. That is a run down for them, and the Chiefs took advantage.
Johnson came to the sidelines a little wobbly. Michael Bennett has replaced him in the backfield. First and 10, just inside the 40. This is Bennett. Tippy-toeing, we've got a flag on that side. Preliminary indication is holding on the Chiefs.
That's one of the tough things about trying to go on these long drives.
Holding. Offense number 88. 10-yard penalty.
That's Tony G.
You have to be perfect. You can't make those kinds of mistakes, and you just wonder with the shoulder injury. We saw him earlier flinching a little bit on a block, and you just have to wonder now, trying to get that corner and you're trying to make the turn, whether or not that shoulder impacted him and he was forced into a holding situation.
You know, we noted a little bit earlier that Tony missed a game last week, was inactive with that shoulder, broke his streak of 120 consecutive games. We should note that tonight Will Shields is playing in his 218th consecutive game.
And one of the really great men in this league. His work with his foundations here, and just as fine a guy as you'll meet. A Renaissance man, loves to sing, loves music.
Can play the saxophone too, we hear. It'll be first and 20. Green swings it this way. Bennett, he's got blockers, but is tripped up at about the 37-yard line by Darrent Williams.
Well, boy, that's a big play. When you get backed up like that, they go to something pretty fancy. It's a good thing the Broncos weren't coming on a blitz on this one, because this play took a long time to get set up. Bennett sold it well inside, able to get the edge. There really was nobody out here to try and stop that one.
Larry Johnson is checked back into the ball game. He's the lone back behind Green, 2nd and 8 from the 36. He'll get it. Following Shields, off the right side. Johnson to the 15. First down, Chiefs. Breaking the tackle of Champ Bailey.
One of the negative aspects of bringing Jerome Cox down in the box instead of John Lynch is you don't have a guy with this type. He's going to come back. Jerome Cox coming off the edge. John Lynch makes that tackle more often than not. He understands essentially linebacker play in that situation, but Jerome Cox is a guy that's a former cornerback, not used to playing down there.
Johnson now over the 100-yard mark with 24 carries for 108 and a touchdown. He'll get it again, picking his way for maybe 2 before being stacked up on the right side.
Now as you get down closer to the goal line, it's Lynch who's playing down in the box and Cox who's playing back in pass coverage. This is really, it's been surprising to me. All night long I thought that anybody could figure out this strategy. You know, you're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, you're playing against Larry Johnson, and that means that John Lynch is coming down the box and it's going to be like a 4th linebacker in there. But for the most part this evening, he's been back in either a cover 2 or a single deep safety, and he's there again now.
Johnson is out, Bennett is in as we hit the 1-minute mark in the 3rd period. Green fakes this way, wants no part of it, get down at the 16. Give Ecubon credit for the sack.
Ecubon got the sack, but it was Darrent Williams who really made the play. They tried to go to the quick screen on the outside, and Darrent Williams took his guy and drove him back in the backfield. Trent Green took one look and said, I don't think so, pulled it down.
It'll leave the Chiefs facing 3rd and 11 from the 16. Michael Bennett is in. He goes 3 wide to the left. Dante Hall in motion to the top of the screen. Green breaking one tackle, getting back to about the 12-yard line, slipped out of the grasp of a would-be tackler in his own backfield. Got a little bit of it back. It'll leave Tynes looking at certainly a makeable field goal as we reach the end of the 3rd period. Here at Arrowhead, the Kansas City Chiefs out in front of the Denver Broncos, 13-10 with a period to play. We're back after this. Lawrence Tynes looking for his 3rd field goal of the night as we start the 4th quarter. This one from 29 yards. He's already made good tonight on his first 2, one from 24, one from 34. Three for 3. And with that, the Chiefs move up by 6. 16-10, Kansas City over Denver. Plummer in business when we come back. Thursdays, but don't forget on Sundays, don't miss any NFL action. Just log on to NFL.com and subscribe to Field Pass. Lets you listen to live local radio broadcasts of all the games. Log on to NFL.com and you get to hear all the action.
It is crazy on Sunday. You're sitting there, and if you get a chance to see all the games, absolutely amazing how many come right down to the wire, and you can barely keep up with all the action.
It is remarkable, isn't it?
It really is.
I mean, you see teams burst out, and at the end, they're just hanging on.
Well, giving Lamar Hunt a lot of credit. Some of his innovations in this game have made it what it is today, and Lamar, we're hoping you're enjoying this one.
Again, we send our best wishes along to Lamar as Tynes boots this one down to Brian Clark, who will take it at his own 3. And Clark tripped up as he goes across the 25 down to about the 28-yard line. Let's take a look at the AFC playoff picture, because this game has a lot of implications for an awful lot of teams involved.
And I think there are a lot of teams out there who are cheering for the Denver Broncos in this one, because basically Kansas City has the final playoff spot as it sits right now, along with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So if Kansas City loses, they take a step back towards Jacksonville and Cincinnati and the New York Jets. They just as soon the Denver Broncos run off and hide and take their chances to catch the Chiefs.
Plummer faking, throwing, left side. Mike Bell had it, lost it. It'll be 2nd down.
And Mike Bell's a nice player, and he's proven himself this year, but just don't have the explosive-ness of a Tatum Bell. You know, Tatum Bell is a guy, and we've seen it especially in the early days of his career, where he could catch something like that, make somebody miss, and break one off for 60, 70 yards, whatever. But even Tatum Bell hasn't been that guy this year. In my opinion, he's a much better player when he's touching the ball about 15 times a game. When he's asked to carry the whole load, he's just not quite the same guy.
Second and 10. Plummer again will throw, this time for Alexander, who appears to have the first down as he crosses the 40. Ty Law on the coverage.
And it's amazing how powerful that first down of a drive can be, not only for your confidence, but the crowd who now begins to think that they're controlling you. All of a sudden, they're not going to quit cheering, but it's not quite to the same level after that first down.
Certainly not the noise level we had early on.
They're tired, too. They've been eating a lot of turkey.
That tryptophan is checking in.
There you go.
Plummer will give it to Bell. And off the right side, he maybe gains 2 yards before Jared Allen brings him down.
Well, once again, it's the same thing that we've been seeing. Jared Allen coming off that backside. They know each other so well. They know the Denver Broncos and how they like to play on the offensive side. And when Jared Allen, he's not worried about the bootleg. Steven Alexander's trying to cut him down or cut him off, but Jared Allen is simply going to sprint for that cutback, and those cutback lanes have not been there all night.
You saw the numbers on Bell, 9 carries, 30 yards, 2nd and 8. Plummer faking to Bell, throwing this side, completing Rod Smith inside the 40.
Good job up front with the protection that time, and it's just a joy to watch Rod Smith run routes. I mean, let's just be honest about it. He's not the player he has been in the past. He's slowing down a little bit, but if you come out in a zone against him, he's going to find the hole. That time in the backfield, Mike Bell with a tremendous block to give Jake a chance to step up and work this one down the field about 20 yards to Rod Smith.
Plummer will give it to Bell on 1st down, knocked back into his own backfield. Perhaps a loss of 1. You know, we see so many, present company accepted, but we see so many divas at the wide receiver position. It should be noted that Smith has gone 9 straight seasons with 70 catches. And frankly, it doesn't look like he's going to get there this year. He's only got 34. I asked him about it. He said it didn't bother him.
And for a guy that went undrafted in the National Football League to put up the astronomical numbers that he's done and do it in such a classy manner, easy guy to cheer for.
Rod Smith spread wide to this side. Javon Walker up top. Plummer will throw, looking for Walker, finding him at about the 34-yard line. He dropped it.
Ty Law with tight coverage over on the outside, but that's one that's a huge difference maker because it would have put them down in field goal range had Javon Walker been able to hold on to this one. We talked about it a little bit earlier. When Ty Law thinks he knows what's going on, he'll give a signal to his safety and jump a route, and so often he can come up with an interception.
And the crowd's back into it as Plummer faces 3rd and 12 from the 39. Damian Nash is in his backfield.
Need about 6 or 7 for a field goal shot.
Right through the arms of Nash. It was high, but he had his hands on it.
Had an opportunity for it, but again, you have so many different guys and so many new positions now. Damian Nash, who obviously not a polished player in the National Football League, had an opportunity for it. Hard to tell if Jared Allen may have gotten a hand on that one or not. Lucky for Jake Plummer, that wasn't intercepted, but that drop on the outside by Javon Walker now leads to a punt instead of a field goal.
Ernster will try to bury the Chiefs deep in their own end. Hall lets it sail over his head. Bounces. Well, what do they call it?
Touchback.
Okay. Looking at the official on the far side, who seemed to be waiting for a call from one on the near side. It's 16-10 Chiefs with just under 12 minutes to go in the 4th. We'll return to Arrowhead right after this. Coach Shanahan exchanging holiday greetings, no doubt.
Well, you can just imagine the kind of pressure between those two people right now. Basically, the word has gotten out. Our Adam Schefter reporting that Jake Plummer will be starting his last game this evening, and I'm sure the conversations are not easy between those two men right now.
Just under 12 minutes to go in the ball game. Green will lob it left to Larry Johnson. Will Shields' block was the one that the crowd was reacting to. Will's an interesting guy. Now, this is a guy who really thought about hanging it up. Willie Rofe talked him into coming back, and then Rofe hung it up.
Well, there's somebody on the Denver Broncos right now that wishes he had hung it up. Will Shields on the outside just peels back and just destroys one of the Broncos. Oh, boy, that's Michael Myers coming back across, chasing the play. Just never saw Will Shields.
How can you miss him?
I don't know.
2nd and 4. Green finding Gonzalez. 1st down Chiefs.
Boy, how many tight ends are there in the game that you flank out against a starting cornerback in the National Football League, that time Darren Williams, and you have the guts to throw him a 10-yard out. I mean, that's one of those that you make a mistake on that one, or Williams decides to get a little greedy, take it back for a touchdown the other way. But that's the kind of respect that everybody gives Tony Gonzalez, whether he's inside or outside.
This is Johnson skipping right, looking for a block. him by one ankle as he crossed the 45.
Nice tackle back there by Champ Bailey, but at the line of scrimmage, again, Larry Johnson is simply going to make a cut that defies somebody that size. Jumping right around DJ Williams, who thought he had him dead to rights. I mean, DJ Williams knows he has contain on the backside, but you just don't expect a guy like Larry Johnson to be able to jump around him like that. Tremendous talent, 118 yards, and we know that it's been a long time since they've lost a game at home when he goes over 100 yards.
It'll be 2nd and 1. Green spreads Gonzalez wide right, sends Hall in motion. Gives inside to Johnson, picking his way, finding his way across midfield. Down to about the 40-yard line before Jerome Cox brings him down.
Well, we've been talking about it all night, the matchup between Al Wilson at the middle linebacker position and Larry Johnson. This time Al Wilson's going to have a shot. Comes in there and just a little inside dip, the outside run. Ian Gold thought he had him. And this has just been a very patient night for Larry Johnson, and he's making some tremendous linebackers look bad tonight.
27 carries, 133 yards for Johnson. Michael Benham spells him in the backfield, and Trent Green decides he wants to come to sidelines. Talk about it with Herm Edwards. We're back after this. Dolphins won their 4th in a row, 27-10. Tony Romo threw for 5 scores as Dallas beat Tampa Bay 38-10. I got a couple of Cowboys buddies who think the world of him.
I bet they do right now.
1st and 10. Green will throw. Look out. Darren Williams with the pick.
Went back to the well once too often there. They've been trying to pick against Darren Williams over on the outside. That time Sammy Parker running the comeback route, and Darren Williams had seen enough. He undercuts this one. A huge turnover in this game.
Season's in. Broncos are in business at the 36-yard line. This is Williams when he came to the sideline. We keep wondering why they throw a Champ Bailey. He says, keep picking on me. Keep picking on me.
I'm going to get one for me.
This is Damian Nash. Barely getting back to the line of scrimmage before Ron Edwards stacks him up.
Darren Williams, it's so exciting to see a young player who knows that he has to prove himself. And the hardest thing in the world to do is when you have a superstar on the other side, and it's Champ Bailey, and nobody's going to throw there. And Darren Williams knows it. Eventually, you have to make plays. Darren Williams has to make a play, and maybe he's proven a little something to Trent Green right there.
Plummer throwing left. Nash at the 40 in the arms of Kendrell Bell will leave the Broncos looking at 3rd and about 4 or 5.
And you need a first down here if you're the Denver Broncos. Your running game has basically been non-existent. It's been entirely on the back of Jake Plummer. You're in a 3rd and medium kind of a situation, but now you're where Jake has to drop back and make a big completion. And the biggest knock on him is that he can't come through in these situations.
Quarterbacks make their money on 3rd down. Jake scrambling left out of the pocket, underthrowing Alexander.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. He had him. He had Steven Alexander wide open. He needed to set his feet. He did a good job scrambling out of there. But that's a play a National Football League quarterback has to make in this situation. Jake off the play action is going to step up beautifully. Steven Alexander's wide open. Just simply not enough arm strength to get it there.
And so Ernster will be called upon to punt once again. And Dante Hall looking to add to his Denver resume, which is pretty extensive. He'll be able to run this one back. Chase back inside his own 10. Looking for room on the far side and not getting it. Kyle Johnson down there with the tackle. Chiefs backed up in their own 10-yard line. Larry Johnson coming back to work. On NFL Game Day, Sunday nights, immediately following the NBC game starring Chris Collinsworth.
There you go. A few other guys out there as well.
We're inside the 8-minute mark, and the Chiefs are backed up in their own end, 1st and 10. And this is Johnson.
You know, one of the things that's been fun for me to watch is a guy, Kyle Turley, who's now playing the right tackle position. He was out of football for a little while, an outstanding left tackle for the New Orleans Saints, but he's lost a lot of weight, probably weighs at most 275 pounds, but you see him come out there, get the cut block against DJ Williams, and that's the kind of thing that you don't have to be the biggest guys. The Denver Broncos offensive line have proven over the years if you can get out and run.
Yeah, but when you go from Willie Roaf to Kyle Turley, you've taken a big drop.
That's a big drop.
That's a big drop. Johnson inside, fighting his way just past the 17-yard line, maybe to the 18. DJ Williams.
Well, really, both these teams have very light offensive lines, but it works because they can get people out in front of ball carriers like you've just been seeing. And really, in fairness to Kyle Turley, he was never supposed to be a starter on this team. They all got shocked when Willie Roaf decided to retire, and he just had to fill in. He's done a pretty good job.
Oh, 3rd and 1. Somebody moved this side. That was Turley.
Boy, I put the kiss of death on him, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Nobody can do that better than I can.
False start. Offense number 74.
Boy, that's rough, too, because they had that one set up pretty well. Had the interior blitz coming, and they had a run to the outside call. Now your quarterback has just thrown an interception on his last drop back, and you're just about forced to throw it from deep in your own territory. Herm Edwards, this is going to be a pretty good test. Typically a conservative coach here might call draw, might call screen, but you're not going to throw it down the field and give the Broncos a chance.
Potentially a huge stop for Denver. Green, looking, finding Sammy Parker. Champ's standing on this sideline with his hands on his hips looking at Lynch. Evidently some kind of a problem in communication.
Yeah, there really was. That time Dante Hall drew 2 guys on the underneath route, and Trent Green found them. They just jumped the underneath route. I think they thought they were going to try and work that quick little move to Dante Hall, and they left him all alone. John Lynch unable to get there. And Champ Bailey saying, where are you? Need help.
A gain of 26 on 3rd and 6 gets them out from deep in their own end and up to about the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 Chiefs. Pitch to Johnson going left. Maybe enough. No, just short of the 1st down marker on the far side, just short of midfield.
You know, you hear so much about you have to have a short memory in this league, and for Trent Green, you know, it's just his 2nd game back after the major injury and sitting there on 3rd and 6 and backed up. But that's the difference. I'm thinking if Damon Huard were in the ball game right there, I'm not sure they would have allowed him to throw the ball down the field. But Trent Green very calmly made a great read and took advantage of John Lynch on that one.
2nd and 3. Inside once again. 1st down. Johnson powering his way to the 48. He's got to be up around the 150-yard mark. Trent Green's numbers you see right there. Not throwing it around like he used to, but very effectively.
Yeah, and his numbers are never going to look the way that they did. I mean, this is a philosophical shift in this offense. Herm Edwards, when he was with the Jets, had one of the least penalized teams. They don't turn it over. They're not going to make the big mistake. They're not going to take a lot of chances. You could like it, not like it, but that's what Herm's going to do.
Michael Bennett is spelling Johnson in the backfield, and it's Bennett with the ball off left tackle, finding room, cutting back. Foot race to the end zone, brought down at the 10. Darrett Williams. Michael Bennett in to give a breather to Larry Johnson, takes a pitch to the far side, cuts it back off left tackle, and finds his way all the way down to the 9-yard line.
Chris Wilson, number 84, with a great block on the outside, and Gerard Warren got so much penetration up the middle, there was nobody to occupy his gap. Typically, the defensive linemen all slide down the line together. Warren got the penetration, which is terrific, but what happened was on the cutback lane, there was nobody there to pick up Bennett.
Bennett's longest carry of the year, 41 yards. We've been talking about Larry Johnson so much, understandably, but Bennett, 2 carries tonight, 56 yards.
Well, when you consider coming into this game that Larry Johnson had carried the ball 248 times and Michael Bennett 23. You know, it's nice to have somebody that can come in and give you a blow. And Michael Bennett's one of the most explosive players in the league. You remember a few years back with Minnesota Vikings, he went to the Pro Bowl, and he is one of the fastest running backs that there is.
Former Badger. Look at that difference in rushing yardage, will you? 220 to 38.
Don't win many with those stats.
Green, this is Johnson. Not getting much there and not really caring too much for the tackle of Ebenezer Ekubon.
A little scrum at the bottom of that one.
Yeah, it was a little foot massage, I think.
Larry Johnson was saying, get off me. You're only allowed to try and tackle me when between the whistles, not after the whistles. And clearly a frustrated Denver Broncos team.
Let's see it again. Ekubon, well, hard to tell.
Well, I'm telling you, Larry Johnson's lucky he didn't get a penalty out of that one that would have driven him back. Not that what Ekubon was doing was right, but clearly he was trying to draw a foul.
3rd and 7. We're inside 3 minutes. Johnson looking, dragging Bailey inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line.
I really believe Champ Bailey's the best defensive player in the National Football League. This is a saving tackle right here. Larry Johnson simply going to run this one in the end zone if Champ Bailey doesn't get him on the ground, and it's one-on-one, and nobody's been doing that tonight.
Timeout Denver with 2:46 to play in the 4th, and their defense looking at a 4th and 4.
Well, here it gets pretty tough on the Denver Broncos. If you convert this field goal, end up going down 9, then you've got to get in a real hurry-up offense to try and score and get an onside kick and get back in it. This has been a pretty methodical game tonight by the Kansas City Chiefs, and for Herm Edwards, a guy who made the playoffs 3 out of 4 years with the New York Jets, his 5th year, gets 2 quarterbacks hurt early in the season and ends up leaving New York after that, and not a whole lot of fans along the way up there. But I think he's proven his point that if you don't make the big mistakes, don't have the big penalties, and you can run the football, you can win a lot of games in the NFL.
Tynes, this one from 21, looking for his 4th field goal of the night and finding it. Puts the Chiefs up by 2 scores as they move ahead 19-10 with just 2:42 left in the ballgame. Let's quickly reset this for you. Larry Johnson has been the show this evening. 34 carries, 157 yards and a touchdown. We said they'd get a steady diet of him, and they have. Michael Bennett has come in to pick up 56 on his own with 2 carries. Jake Plummer, not a bad night, 22 of 34, statistically not bad, but on 3rd downs he came up empty when he needed to.
Well, Jake has made some plays out there, but I think it would be hard to make the case that he's going to keep his job if, in fact, Mike Shanahan was thinking going into this one that he was going to make the change for the next game.
He didn't do enough for Shanahan to say, I can't change this guy.
I can't see in any way, shape, or form that that's the case. And really, for the Denver Broncos, they just don't have the weapons they've had in the past. They don't have the receiving fullback. They don't have the receiving tight end. And they don't have the big, strong-arm quarterback. And I think one of the things that they're thinking is that with Jay Cutler, at least you can drop him back, and he can hit all areas of the field like a Carson Palmer can.
Let me ask you this. If he makes the move to Cutler, can he go back to Jake ever?
Oh, I think you can, because he's still on the roster. Do I think you can go back and have a shot at a Super Bowl? No. I think once you make that move, you make that move for good. And I believe that's what Mike Shanahan will do after this game.
They'll kick it away. Brian Clark again. The Broncos their kickoff return team, I mean, there's a reason it's 32nd in the NFL. Coming up next, don't forget the Home Depot postgame show. Join the entire Total Access crew for a full game recap and, of course, news from around the NFL, where it's been a busy day this Thanksgiving. Brian Clark is the Bronco down on the field, being tended to. Officials timeout.
Let's talk about Cutler a little bit. You know, one of the things that the Broncos believe is that there's been so much pressure on Jake Plummer because this young man, Jay Cutler, has the kind of arm that when you watch him in practice, even the guys on your own team start oohing and awing. And then as a quarterback, like Jake Plummer, you're out there and you're going, every time I throw the ball, they're going, he's no Jay Cutler. And they think that burden has carried over into the playing field and into the games for him.
This is too much of a setup. But assuming they make the move, right?
Right.
And they get him in time, right, for the holidays. The guy is, I kid you not, from Santa Claus, Indiana.
Oh, I know. I've driven through Santa Claus, Indiana before. But when you watched him on tape this preseason, I think I saw every throw he made in the preseason. You just see an electric arm. You see a guy with a rare ability that not many other people have. And when you have that kind of arm strength and you don't have the ability to get on the edge because you don't have the same running game you had in the past, at least now it opens up other plays in the playbook. And you're going to go to more of a drop back style. You're going to be able to throw the football, do a little play action. But again, this is his first year. This isn't like a Tony Romo.
And we put a big asterisk next to doing it in the preseason.
Right, and it's not like Phillip Rivers, who's had a couple years in that offense.
Plummer will throw far side. Brandon Marshall skipping out of bounds with 2.5 left. I say because it was preseason, because as you and I were talking in the car out here, the other guys in the preseason who were among the top 5 were Sean King, Matt Cassell. I mean, you know, and it is the preseason.
They don't play NFL defenses in the preseason. They play a basic cover 3, a basic cover 2. They're not showing you the blitz packages. And for a guy like Jay Cutler, he's going to have to learn on the fly. And I'm not so sure that Mike Shanahan isn't saying either he's going to give us a lift and we'll make a run, or at the very least, we'll get him ready to start next year.
2nd and 2 from the 35. Plummer. Again to Marshall. Marshall fighting his way, trying to get out of bounds, but Ty Law won't let him. And we're ticking down to the 2-minute warning.
And when you need 2 scores, you don't need many plays like that.
We'll get the 2-minute warning. Broncos needing 2 scores and running out of time. It's 19-10 Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Thursday Night Football.
Larry Johnson has had a big night, much to the enjoyment of one fan in the stands. Larry Johnson is not only 27's dad, he's also 91's coach, defensive line coach at Penn State. There's Pops.
Looks like he played a little ball this day too, doesn't it?
He was Larry's high school coach, and he was Tamba's defensive line coach at Penn State. Tamba still looks at him as a father figure.
Boy, both of them have been major contributors here tonight.
Plummer on 1st down, ball on the ground. Cooper Carlisle with the recovery. It looked like Ali was the one that knocked it out.
Yeah, George Foster's going to get beat around the corner by Tamba Hali, and I can tell you, as an offensive team, when you get in this must-pass situation, you're going to set yourself up for a fall right around Foster.
2nd and 10, we've got flags. Eric Pierce may have jumped.
Ball start. Offense number 64. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And you understand Pierce making mistakes, but the major disappointment for this Broncos offensive line is that they had to bench George Foster. There's a guy, a top draft pick, you expect to be a cornerstone for a long time, and when he's riding the bench, that's not a good sign.
2nd and 22. Javon Walker over the middle, not much. Clock ticking down inside a 1.5 minutes. They go 4 wide. Plummer behind Kirkus will leave them looking at 4th down.
This is a tough, intimidating place to play. And I just have to tell you, Brian, how remarkable I think it is, the transformation of this Kansas City Chiefs defense this year, because their offense is running the ball and keeping them off the field. They just look like a different team than they have in the past few years.
What do you call, Coach? 4th and 13.
Wing and a prayer.
Plummer, lots of time. Through the hands of Rod Smith. Tough to put that one on Jake.
Yeah, but Jake's walking off the field wondering if that's the last pass he's going to throw this season as a starting quarterback. Pressure again, really not much there. He had plenty of time to drop back in the zone. And even if Rod Smith had caught that ball, they were going to come up and make the tackle. And Jake trying to explain there just wasn't anything there. And there's the next in line, the heir apparent.
Jake's numbers on the night, 25 of 39 for 216, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. If in fact he was playing for his job, that's probably not a good enough application.
I don't think so either. And for Jake Plummer, I know he's disappointed. He's put up the kind of numbers that you would think maybe somebody else will take a chance on him down the road. Again, he had the highest quarterback rating in Broncos history, about 85, 174% of his games that he's played. But in Denver, they expect championships. And the overwhelming consensus, I believe, amongst the fans in Denver is that they are going to win, but they're not going to win championships with Jake Plummer.
If that was his last time starting, Plummer will wind up his career with the Broncos anyway, 0-6 against the Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Just can't say enough about the job that Herm Edwards has done with this football team. He has re-energized the defensive side of the ball. He's asked his offense to make concessions. They've done it willingly. They have done it willingly. This is a team that's playing as a team right now. And I tell you, they're on a roll. They've got a chance.
They have now won 6 of their last 7. Herm Edwards, happy man, 157 yards tonight for Larry Johnson. There's his good buddy, John Lynch. Don't forget, next week we'll be in Cincinnati, home game for Chris Collinsworth as the Baltimore Ravens come in to play the Cincinnati Bengals. Our final here, the Kansas City Chiefs 19, the Denver Broncos 10. Let's go down on the field now. Here's Adam Schefter.
34 carries, 157 yards. When did you know that you were going to be on track and on point tonight?
It's just going against Denver. We know they are a tough opponent, but we also know that we had to run the ball, and an excellent job by our O-linemen and the guys that backed up the O-line and came in and out, and we just ran downhill today.
In each of your 4 starts versus the Broncos, you've gone over 125 yards. Do you feel more confident against certain teams?
You got to. This is a real physical defense. You know, you take a look at their front 4. All of them are first-round draft picks. So you got to feel confident going in each and every opponent and know that you can run the football.
At 7-4, now tied with the Denver Broncos, is this team where it wants to be heading into November and December?
Definitely at home. But we know we gotta carry the same enthusiasm and aggressiveness on the road too. So it's good to play home, but we know we got to win to get to the playoffs on the road.
Congratulations, Larry. Thanks so much. 157 yards for Larry Johnson. Over to you, Rich.
All right, Adam Schefter. The Denver Broncos, in a matter of 4 days, have gone from the top of the AFC West to 3rd place behind the Kansas City Chiefs, who win on Thanksgiving night. Full post-game highlights and analysis coming up.
Thursday Night Football is brought to you by the Nissan Titan.